What's up, everyone? Welcome to Lowered Expectations. Thanks for lowering your expectations and hanging out with me here. I do appreciate it. In today's video, we are going to be checking out this amazing new all-in-one diesel heater from Vevor. I've already filmed an intro for this video, but after using this heater for about 4 hours, looking through the owner's manual, checking through the controller, and looking at the app, I figured that I need to take a little bit different of a direction. This heater is a direct result of Vevor listening to your guys' requests, and I have to say I am incredibly impressed with this heater. Coming from me, hopefully that means something, because I've torture tested a Vevor diesel heater for about 2 years and showed you guys all the ins and outs. I also owned 2 Bluetooth Vevor diesel heaters, one installed on a wheelbarrow and one installed in my work vehicle. I also had a third one that I installed on my buddy BJ's Toyota 4Runner, so I do have quite a bit of experience with these heaters. This one is different. What I'm going to try to do now is quickly go over some of the features and benefits that I am most excited about on this heater. Then we'll go into a little bit more detail on each of those things. This is a fully self-contained unit with a very sturdy feeling case and metal folding carry handles. A 12 to 24 volt quick connector on the back of the heater that comes with not only a battery connector, but get this, an actual 12 volt power supply that plugs into your household power. A Bluetooth app with a whole lot of features that you guys have been requesting. A user manual that is actually translated pretty good and dedicated to the heater that you actually purchased. A carbon monoxide detector mounted on the front of the heater that reads out on the controller the level at parts per million, and an extension cable so you can extend the carbon monoxide detector to the area where you're actually staying. A side exit exhaust, just like that muscle car that you've always dreamed of, so now the exhaust doesn't shoot directly down out the bottom and is a whole lot easier to deal with. Quite clearly, the heater is already out of the box. I've done some testing and I am absolutely thrilled with this heater. But I know some of you are going to be a little bit upset if I don't show the unboxing process, so we're going to do that now, and then we'll come back and talk in detail about some of the features that I just mentioned earlier. If you don't want to watch the unboxing, feel free to skip ahead. There's a little bit of damage to the top of this box, but as with most Vevor products, it is packaged quite well, so I don't think I have anything to worry about. Let's pull it out of the box and find out. This heater actually comes with 2 nice carry handles. Let's see if I can use them to pull it out of the box. Oh yeah, what a beauty. All right, so it comes packaged very well. No damage to the top of the heater despite the top of the box being damaged. Inside of the package, we also have this accessories box and the owner's manual. Before you run out and buy one of these heaters, I suggest you stick around to the end of the video so that you get all of the details. However, if you're interested in purchasing one of these, there will be an affiliate link in the description below. If you purchase a heater, it helps me out as I get a small kickback, and there will also be a discount code down there if you're interested. While you're down there, you can check out my Patreon page and support me over there if you want. You can also check out my other channel, which is the Joel Arsenault YouTube channel. While we're talking about stuff that's not related to this heater, I am working on a waste oil burner that will be heating water, and I will be releasing videos on that, well, sometime throughout this winter. So if you're interested in seeing those videos, be sure to subscribe and make sure you give this video a like. This new Vevor diesel heater is a self-contained unit. Some of you may have seen these before. It has the gas tank built into the unit. This one happens to have some nice metal fold-down carrying handles. It has the controller built into the front of it. It also has this carbon monoxide detector, which will not only tell you if the carbon monoxide level gets too high, but will shut the heater down if it gets up to 500 parts per million. Inside of the accessories pack, we have a piece of exhaust tubing, stainless steel. We have the outlet vent, and also, what do you call this? I guess part of the outlet vent. We also have a plug. This is pretty neat. It actually plugs into the back of the heater and has a place to connect to your battery. So it's very easy to disconnect and also very easy to transport. We have a muffler and some screws to attach it with. We have a package that comes with a wire that looks like a headphone jack. I believe that is for the carbon monoxide sensor. We also have some brackets as well as some hose clamps for the exhaust. And inside of this box, we have a power adapter, so you can actually run this directly off of the wall. Over here, we have a fuel level indicator that tells you how much fuel is left in the tank. And we also have a badge that gives you some information about the heater itself. Most of you who have watched my videos will know that I don't generally spend a lot of time talking about features and benefits of a product and going into great detail. Normally, I pull a product out of a box, I do some sort of silly test and try to get the point across that Vevor makes really good products and that you guys should go and get one. In this case, this video is going to be a little bit different because not only is this a new model heater, it has a whole bunch of things that you guys have been asking for, and it has a whole lot of cool features that I am really excited to show you. So, not as much running and testing in this video, but we are going to take a little bit deeper look at some of the details. One of the things that I'm likely going to struggle showing you guys is just how nice and user-friendly this new controller is. I'm going to struggle because of the lighting, but it is much nicer to use than some of the controllers I've used in the past. You guys may remember a few videos back I installed a diesel heater in a truck and I wasn't actually able to figure out how to prime the fuel pump. I'll show you how easy that is to do on this particular heater. In order to enter the user menu, you simply push and hold the OK button and it will go into the menu. First thing that's on the display here is AC, which is adjust clock. You can turn the rotary dial to get to the next menu item, which is set time. PO is for the pump. If you want to cycle the pump to prime the unit, you press OK, and it starts doing that. If you want to stop, which I do, because it's already primed, you press the gear button at the bottom and it stops. Otherwise, I would recommend priming this heater for about a minute when you first get it. So once again, in order to enter the user menu or the user settings, press and hold OK. It comes up as AC, which is adjust clock. ST is for set timing. I believe that is to have the heater turn on and off when you want it to, which you can do in the app. We'll get to that later. Next one is PO. We just use that. That is prime the pump. RF is to pair or set up a new remote. UN is to change the units from Celsius to Fahrenheit. And NO is to set the Bluetooth. When this heater is up and running, it will display the heat setting that you have the heater set at, and you can also scroll through some other things. Because the heater is shut off right now, because I'm trying to talk and make a video, we're going to scroll through and I'll show you all of the other things except for the heat setting. First, we have the temperature. This is ambient temperature. We also have temperature of the body of the heater. We also have a carbon monoxide level, which is pretty cool. It tells you the carbon monoxide level. If it gets to 300 parts per million, it will alarm. And if it gets to 500 parts per million, it will alarm and shut the heater down. Next thing is back to voltage and then ambient temperature. Because we're already at the front of the heater and we just got done discussing the carbon monoxide detector, I thought now would be a good time to mention the extension cable. This is a standard 3.5 millimeter audio jack, so you can always replace this cable if it gets damaged or lost. The sensor on the front of the heater simply unplugs from the audio jack. You then plug in the end of the cable, the extension cable. Plug the other end into your sensor. The sensor is connected to the front of the heater with a single Phillips screw, so you can take this off and place it wherever you want it. I've already talked a bit about the quick connector on the back of the heater and the fact that it comes with its own 12-volt power supply and a cable that you can hook up to a battery. But I thought I would point out that after using this for a few days, I really enjoy this. It's nice and secure. It's very positive engagement. There's only one way that it can go in because of the shape of the end of the plug and the receptacle. It's very robust. It doesn't feel cheap or like it's just going to break and fall apart. And it is way nicer to move this heater around with no wire hanging out the back that you're going to trip over, or not having to take a wire and wrap it around something so that when you're carrying it, it won't fall and go underneath your feet and you'll break your front teeth out. This may end up being difficult for you guys to see, but I am going to try to get the carbon monoxide detector to go off. I've already tried to get it to go off with the exhaust, and that doesn't work because the exhaust is just burning way too clean. I still recommend that you vent your exhaust outside, but that's just the way it is. So I'm going to burn this piece of paper towel and let the smoke go up into the sensor, and we're going to see what happens on the controller here. I'm now recording with both my iPhone and my GoPro, so hopefully you can see the screen and hear what I'm saying. You can see it says 0 parts per million on the screen. I'm going to light a piece of paper towel on fire. Hopefully we see some numbers pop up on the screen, and then the heater should alarm us to the carbon monoxide and then eventually shut down. Paper towel is on fire. Let's put it out and make some smoke. Okay. We're holding it below the sensor. 115 parts. It jumped up very quickly. Okay, it's alarming. It's saying error, carbon monoxide. Alarms again. And the heater is shutting down. So, I did a little screen recording and I will insert that here to show you guys that it does show you an error code on your app when the heater shuts down because of carbon monoxide. Now might seem like a good time to switch over and start talking about the app, and we're going to do that in just a few minutes, but I want to first talk about fuel economy and correct myself because earlier I called these things brackets. There's actually 4 legs for the bottom of the heater. There are threaded holes on the bottom that make it very easy to attach these legs, and it gives you a little bit of standoff between the ground and the bottom of the heater, which makes the side exit exhaust even a little bit more convenient. I've been setting the heater directly on the ground, but you would want to use these, especially if you're going to be bolting the heater down, because these make it very convenient. As for fuel efficiency, I do have a couple of videos. I'll leave links to them here or here, however that works. And you guys can go watch the full videos if you want. This heater has the exact same fuel consumption as those. I've run it for several hours since the intro of this video. And I can tell you that in 24 hours on the lowest setting, it burns 3 liters of fuel. In the medium setting, or setting 3, it burns 4.6 liters in 24 hours. And on the highest setting, it burns 8.4 liters in 24 hours. Now we're going to have a little chat about the app. I'm going to show you some of the cool features that this has that my other Bluetooth heater does not have. And then we're going to talk about some of the things that I don't like about this app and I don't like about the heater. So, the app, I've got a screen recording going. Hopefully you guys can see that here. One of the neat things about this app is it has the option to just turn a fan on and off. So you can just use it to circulate air. So you press and hold the button. And as you guys can see, the fan is now on. I can speed it up or slow it down. And I can also turn the fan off. It says shut down as it turns the fan off. We can also activate plateau mode. I didn't show you guys earlier in the video, but you can also do that by pushing the OK and the gear button for, I believe, either 2 or 5 seconds, and plateau mode will activate. I guess I could just do that here for you guys now and verify. 1, 2, so yeah, 2 seconds. 2 or 3 seconds. The little mountain will appear, and the plateau mode sets it for higher elevation so that it's not burning quite as much fuel. It leans it out a bit to compensate for the lowered oxygen levels, lower density of air at higher elevations. Now we'll push the button on the app and get it to go into plateau mode. As you guys can see, maybe you can see, the little mountain is on the screen now, and it's also lit up on the phone. We'll now take it out of plateau mode. It goes out on the controller and out on the phone. One of the neat things about this app is that it has a whole bunch of options in the setting menu. So we can press the gear up in the right-hand corner. And one of the things that a lot of people had been asking for or commenting on, although you could switch the units on the heater itself, you couldn't do it in the app on my old Bluetooth heater. On this one, you can go in here and you can set it to meters or feet, Celsius or Fahrenheit. So you can change this however you want, set it up in your app, and we'll do that. We'll change it over to Fahrenheit, and we will now check to see what it actually says. On the screen, we can see it's 104 Fahrenheit for the shell temperature, 70 Fahrenheit for the ambient temperature, and we'll check that on the screen, 104 and 70. This heater has the plateau mode, so it doesn't automatically correct. So I don't believe it actually tells you elevation. If we look on the screen here, it says altitude, elevation, and it says 0 meters. So I think there's probably going to be a different controller that automatically changes the fueling and will tell you the elevation on the screen of the app. So the next thing we can go into in the settings is the language, which is pretty self-explanatory. I am curious here, I haven't taken a look, but one of the things people are probably going to be upset about is that I don't think as of now you can mute the voice on this, which you can on my other Bluetooth controller. Timing setting, this is something that's very interesting. I don't have time to play around with it in this video, but I will show you guys. This is very cool. Very cool that you can do it at all. Even more cool that you can do it in the app. What we're looking at right now on the screen is a calendar, and you can select from Sunday all the way through to Saturday what time you want it to boot up and shut down. So what time you want the heater to turn on and off at. You can set it up to execute once or to repeat, so every week. I think some people are probably still going to be upset that you can't have it turn on and off several times in one day. Maybe they'll update the app to do that at some point, but I think this is going to make a lot of people very happy because you can go in on Tuesday and you can have it turn on and off in your 24-hour calendar. That is pretty neat. The next thing is automatic start and stop. So this is basically the plus and minus. First of all, there's a switch to toggle it on and off, to turn on and off at, but then there's also basically the swing temperature, when, like, how far you want it to move before it turns on and off. I haven't played with this. I don't have a lot of time to play with this, but I think it's really cool that they actually built this into the app. You guys may remember last year I tested a Burek thermostat that basically worked with the heater. It had the calendar on it and you could set it to do some of this stuff. Well, now Vevor offers this directly on the app. I think that's going to make a lot of people very happy. So the last thing is user manual, and as you would expect, it has a user manual. Gives you some of the codes that you might see on the screen. So it looks like it's kind of a generic user manual in the app, and I assume that that's because this app is probably going to be used for a bunch of different Bluetooth heaters and not specifically this one. So it's a good idea to have the manual in the app a little bit more generic. It may come as somewhat of a surprise to you guys, but I actually do talk about things that I don't like about products. I think that it would be doing everyone a great disservice, including myself, my audience, and Vevor, if I didn't say what I didn't like about a product. Hopefully Vevor will take my advice, and hopefully other YouTubers or other reviewers will leave the same feedback or similar feedback if they've had a similar experience, and Vevor can use that to improve on their product. So it is a fairly short list of things that I don't like. Let me first say that I would absolutely go out of my way to buy one of these, even if I was spending my own money, if I didn't already have about half a dozen of these. Wait, closer to a dozen. So let's get into the list of things that I don't like. First, unfortunately, is the app. I might be the only person who's having this problem. I tried to chat with Vevor about it, but wasn't able to get any conclusive answer. My app is not able to stay connected. Although I love the app, it doesn't do you any good if it disconnects from the heater. And what happens is every time I go to connect, it connects perfectly until I start up the heater. Then at some point it will disconnect, or I will shut my phone down and then turn it back on, and the heater is no longer connected. Once that happens, the only way to get the app to reconnect, and it works every time if you do this, is to actually shut the heater down. It does come with a remote fob, which I have in my pocket here. So you can shut the heater down with this, but it is kind of frustrating, especially when you're trying to shoot videos, to pull out your phone to try to shut the heater down, only to have it not connect over and over and over and over, and have to resort to using a fob remote that they sent you. The heater works flawlessly even after the Bluetooth is disconnected. No problems there, but no matter what I did, I was not able to get the Bluetooth app to reconnect. This is an app for Android, Google, and iOS. I'm using an Apple phone, so iOS. I've tried updating my phone. I've tried deleting and reinstalling the app. I've turned off all of the Bluetooth devices in my house. I've gone through a whole bunch of things trying to get this to reconnect, and every time it'll reconnect as soon as I shut the heater down with the fob or turn it off with the button. But once it disconnects, for whatever reason, it will not reconnect. I'm not sure if I should have included this as the #1 thing on my list, but I am somewhat concerned about the carbon monoxide detector. As you guys saw in this video, I did test it and it does work. The issue is that the heater doesn't give you any indication if the sensor is actually unplugged. I'm going to scroll through to the carbon monoxide setting here, and you guys won't be able to see that likely. But when we're there, if I unplug the sensor, there's no indication on the screen. So if for any reason the sensor fails, or you just forgot to plug it in, or the connector fails, there's nothing then to tell you that the connector is not operational. I think it is amazing that Vevor took the time and developed this heater so that it actually has not only the carbon monoxide detector, a way to adjust it, and a way that it actually reads out on the screen and shuts the heater down. Props for doing that. I think that's incredible. I just think that if you're going to depend on a system like this, it should have some sort of alarming feature. It should do something when you unplug it so that you actually know that the sensor is not operating, so you can take a little extra care. This isn't nearly as big of a deal, but I don't really like the fact that they use a screw to hold the carbon monoxide detector onto the front of the heater. It does work quite well, but you could misplace the screw. It's going to be a fairly easy screw to replace if you do, but I just think that this should clip on and off in some way instead of screwing onto the front of the heater. That would be more convenient and give you one less thing to lose. The things that I don't like is a fairly short list, and we are now on the last thing. And that is, although it is really nice to have a side exit on the exhaust, I kind of wish that they would have did a little more to make the exhaust connect and disconnect a little bit more robustly, let's say. Basically, they use an off-the-shelf exhaust piece, an elbow coming out of the bottom of the heater, which is very nice because you guys are going to be able to replace one if you need to at some point in the future. The thing that I don't like about it is, one, it doesn't fit terribly well, and two, if you're taking it on and off very frequently, I could see this exhaust breaking or the hose clamp breaking. As you guys can see in this footage, there is a little bit of a kink where the hose clamp goes. That's because the pipe is a little bit oversized, and when you squish it down onto the muffler, it actually deforms the outer pipe a little bit. My roommates and I have been using this heater out in an ice fishing hut for quite some time now, and we absolutely love it. I have tested a bunch of Vevor heaters as well as some other brands, and I can tell you without a doubt, if I had to choose one heater, this would be the one that I would choose. I hope that they get the issues figured out with the Bluetooth app. Everything else I could very easily live with. And the fact that everything else on this heater works so well, the fact that it comes with its own 12-volt power supply that I can plug in, and if I want to connect it to a battery, they send you with the cable for doing that as well, makes this heater a definite winner. Everything's enclosed in one case. The case feels very robust. I have been sitting it on the ground, but it does come with legs. I think I'm actually going to try it moving forward using the legs. You're such a troublemaker. You're such a troublemaker. Eh? What are you doing up there? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Hey, no. No. Florence, no. No. You're gonna get put in the house. Hey? You're gonna get put in the house. You can't do that. This might be somewhat disappointing to some of my viewers, but unlike my other heaters, I'm not actually inspired to do something silly with this heater, like hook it up to a Halloween costume or burn waste motor oil in it, vegetable oil, or something silly like that. I've been hanging out a lot with my roommates. We've been hanging out outside in the cooler weather, and it is really nice to have a dependable heater where you simply push an on button and it throws out some heat. So I won't be modifying this or tinkering with it at all. I am just going to be using this, imagine this, to actually just make heat. I imagine this heater will be making plenty of appearances in future videos. If you guys have questions about it, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. While you're down there, check out the description. I will have affiliate links and a discount code for this heater. And if you buy one, it helps me out as I get a small kickback. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.